Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Zelda fans of all ages and Nintendo fans of all ages. Today is a very special day. Well, I mean, not today for us, but today for the world, I would say, is the 4th anniversary of not only the Nintendo Switch, which this little bundle of joy is truly, like, it has easily and quickly become one of my favorite consoles, if not my favorite console right now, because the versatility, the amount of games on it, it's just a joy. It could be better, but it's still a joy. Not only this, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And if you guys didn't know, obviously, I'm a huge Zelda fan. And The Legend of Zelda is actually my #1 series of all time. Kingdom Hearts is a very, very, very close second. But when it came to Zelda, bro, let me tell you a little story, right? For the longest, I thought that Ocarina of Time was the best Zelda game. My own opinion, of course. But as time went on, I'm just waiting for that one game to, topple the king, in my opinion, which was Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask was really close. Wind Waker was a treat. Twilight Princess, I really thought that was going to be the one. And Skyward Sword, even though it was different, it's still high ranking in my opinion. And then comes along Breath of the Wild. And in my humble Zelda fanatic opinion, I really do think it's the best Zelda game right now. But of course, we are waiting on Breath of the Wild 2. What's up, guys? HMK once again. And if you enjoy Zelda content and hype content all around for Nintendo, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And click the bell to know when my videos go live. It really helps me out a lot. But now that we got that out of the way, let's look to the future of Breath of the Wild, Zelda in general, and the Nintendo Switch. Because not only is it the 4th anniversary today for the Switch and Zelda, but we also have a lot of things to think about when it comes to other aspects of Zelda. This year is the 35th anniversary, but why is Nintendo not talking about it? We'll get to that in a little bit. Not only that, it is actually the 10th anniversary of Skyward Sword. And that's why we're getting Skyward Sword HD, I would think, part of the 35th anniversary celebration and whatnot. And then there's a little conspiracy that I've got going on, which is going to be another video in which Nintendo really wants you to play Skyward Sword HD. Because when you play, if you actually didn't play Skyward Sword and you love Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild was your first Zelda game, which is completely fine, go back and play the others. And then Skyward Sword is coming to the Switch very soon, right? So all things considered, there's a lot of narrative connections when it comes to the little finer details of Breath of the Wild compared to that with Skyward Sword, as Breath of the Wild is the furthest Zelda game in the timeline, and Skyward Sword is the first game in the timeline, even though there are events that happen before Skyward Sword, and every time when a video game or a narrative does that, I'm like, hey, this is the first game in the timeline. Alright! But before times, there was this war. I'm like, great. Another war that I may never get to experience. Alright. Age of Calamity kind of did it halfway, if you know what I mean. But I mean, if they do a Warriors game where they talk about every war and stuff, a bunch of my Zelda content creator colleagues play around that idea, and I think that's a really good idea for good money. Nintendo, please. Anyways, it seems like they're setting you up in order to gain more context to what is going on with Breath of the Wild between Skyward Sword and going into Breath of the Wild 2. But it's so funny how Breath of the Wild is like 4 years old, and every time, the funniest story about that is like every now and again I just boot up Breath of the Wild. And if you want to see me play Breath of the Wild, I'm going live today at twitch.tv/HMKiller with Breath of the Wild to celebrate the 4th anniversary. And I just boot up this game and I play, and I have like over 1,000 hours logged into it across multiple systems, and I'm like, I can never get tired of this game. A feeling that resonates with me when it comes to Ocarina of Time, right? Every time I boot up my Switch, either my brother or my friends call me and it's like, why are you playing Breath of the Wild? You're done. And I'm like, you don't finish playing a game like this. There is no done to Breath of the Wild. There's no completion to Breath of the Wild. No. And then I hang up and I keep playing, right? So that has me really excited to see what the future has in store for Breath of the Wild 2, which with a heavy heart, I kind of like, it's a double-edged sword saying that, hey, it's the 4th anniversary of Breath of the Wild. At this point in time, I really thought I was going to be playing the second game, but I guess not. Maybe this year, the end of this year, early next year. I mean, what if Nintendo decides to do it for the 5th anniversary of Breath of the Wild, for Breath of the Wild 2? How would you feel about that, ladies and gentlemen? Leave your thoughts and comments and hypeness in the comment section below if you really think that March 3rd 2022 is the optimal date, because I mean we are getting Skyward Sword HD this year, and there are rumors that Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD are still coming to the Nintendo Switch. And I see that a lot of people were actually, complaining about Skyward Sword and, it getting its, time in the limelight. I'm like, listen, first of all, don't believe the noise of people who say, oh, Skyward Sword is a bad game. Skyward Sword is one of my favorite games of all time. Bro, I love that game. Right now, it's number 3. Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword. That's how much I really think it's good. So when people are like, oh, Skyward Sword is bad, I'm like, so you don't like Metroid games. Just say that you don't like Metroid. Because, it really just tears a page out of Metroid and just goes, right? So, Skyward Sword HD is a game that I feel like you guys should definitely enjoy. But I'm going to say right now, that price point doesn't seem that enjoyable. I just really hope Nintendo does more, shows more, because it's coming out in July. I really hope that Nintendo shows more to justify $60 for Skyward Sword HD, because right now, even though the button controls is pretty cool and something that a lot of people ask for, I don't think that's enough. Amiibo support is already confirmed, and maybe they add more stuff into it, because I mean, Twilight Princess had the Cave of Ordeals, and of course the Wolf Link Amiibo that is compatible with Breath of the Wild. So maybe they'll do something similar to that to have it compatible with Breath of the Wild too. And of course, Wind Waker HD had all of that awesome, the Tingle Bottle, the Hero Mode unlocked from the start, and that gorgeous graphical rework. Oh my god, Hexadrive, they are the bee's knees. I just really want to know who is developing Skyward Sword HD, because Hexadrive assisted with Wind Waker HD, and Tantalus helped out with Twilight Princess HD, and they both did wondrous jobs in order to bring the old into the new in different ways. So I just need to see more of Skyward Sword HD, and of course I'm Zelda trash, so I'm still gonna get it. I already pre-ordered my Joy-Cons, so I just really hope that Nintendo justifies that $60 price point at one point. But, all things considered, of course, Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD got their own limelight. Like, after 10 years, Wind Waker HD for the Wii U got its revision. After 10 years, Twilight Princess HD got its revision on the Wii U. So now it's Skyward Sword's time to be in the limelight. You have to focus on that. So, more likely, once they're done focusing on Skyward Sword HD, they're gonna go off and, hey, guess what? Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD is also coming to the Switch for a lesser price, hopefully. But this is Nintendo that we're talking about. So, yeah. All that good jazz. Oh, my lord. But in all aspects, when we're talking about the Switch and what's coming to the Switch in terms of Zelda, the 35th anniversary, why are they not talking about the 35th anniversary? Well, I mean, it's simple, guys. They have to wait for Mario to die. Well, okay, so of course you've probably seen that joke on social media a bunch of times. By the way, you should definitely follow me on Twitter. In which Mario has to die is when Nintendo's finally going to be ending off their plans for the Mario 35th anniversary, which was last year but spilled into this year because of course everything that's going on with the world and whatnot. And they are taking off 3D All-Stars off the store. Why? And they're stopping Mario 35. Why? Bro, they're just literally they're preparing to take everything away from this man Mario, and Bowser's Fury is already out, and Bowser's Fury is really fun. It's short, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. It seems like, a primordial sense of what they plan to do with Mario moving forward, which is very, very enlightening, if I would say the least. And once that's done, I'm pretty sure then they're gonna start rolling up to y'all and be like, yo, you want some Zelda, huh? Yeah, because of course they have to tell us what's in the Age of Calamity DLC expansion pack before the pack goes live, which is May 28th, and that really goes in line with the end of March is when Mario dies, and then April maybe they'll because Monster Hunter Rise comes out in March, and then Pokemon Snap comes out in April, and of course maybe we'll get some more news. More news on Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl, the Bomberman games. And maybe some more information about Legends Arceus, which I'm looking forward to for a lot of reasons and whatnot. But maybe they'll focus a little bit on that in April, and then when it comes to May, that's May Day. That's May Day for Zelda fans. And then we're going to truly see all the goodness going into what is in store for Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe a name. And guys, let me know in the chat, the comment section. Let me know if you think that Breath of the Wild, Breath Wild, any of it is going to be in the new title or the actual title, or is it going to be Breath of the Wild 2? And that's not unheard of, because in Japan, Link to the Past is called Triforce of the Gods, and A Link Between Worlds is known as Triforce of the Gods 2. So that counts. Like, oh, maybe only in the Japanese version, maybe the Japanese version of the game, Breath of the Wild 2, will actually be called Breath of the Wild 2. So, consider that. But what do you think will be the worldwide localized name? A lot of people say, you know, Depths of the Wild, Breath of the Darkness. You know, I like Echoes of the Past. Echoes of the Past, that was actually a pretty boss name. Like, I'm ready for that. But all in all, Breath of the Wild 2, the 4-year anniversary of the Switch, is insane. And honestly, I'm not too worried about Breath of the Wild 2's release date or information coming out, because they already confirmed that even at right now, 4 years in, this little bundles of joy, 4 years in, is only halfway through its expected life. So apparently we have maybe 4 more years of this little maniac right here, which is, you know, obviously people are thinking Nintendo Switch Pro might be on the way if they're gonna consider 4 more years of this. And honestly, I'm excited for that type of prospect. And all things considered, Breath of the Wild 2 might be on the Pro. Breath of the Wild 2 may not be the last Zelda game on this thing, especially if it's coming relatively soon in comparison to when it was announced. That's what I'm trying to say. And hopefully, when we get more information, they'll just let us know it's coming out this year, next year, or whatever. But even if it comes out this year or next year, it'll still be within that comfortable 4-year gap of which is left for the Nintendo Switch to go out the door. Which is funny, because consoles usually have like 5, maybe 6 years of life or whatnot. And boy, oh boy, remember going from the Wii to the Wii U, yes, yikes. People are going to be like, but the Wii U only had this much life because it was a failure. I thought the Wii U was cool, but it was a failure. And it was gone, and it was gone, and it was gone. But honestly, happy 4 years to one of the most explosive consoles that we've got as of late. You know, people like to sandbag it when it's like, oh, it's not powerful enough. It can't do this with realistic graphics. It can't be doing this. It doesn't have as much power as the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X. Well, I mean, that's not what it's going for. You know, people are like, it's a kiddie console. Like, you know, it's trying to do something different. The console wars are over, guys. If you guys think that the console wars are still going, you need to understand, each console, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, they're all trying to do something different now. They're all trying to appeal to different core markets while also trying to appeal to the grand, more casual market of everyone. So they're trying to offer something to the core audience and at the same time show what they can do for everybody else. And I feel that the Nintendo Switch is doing that more concise than the other two. So, the Nintendo Switch, what a great console. 4 years running, but please, Nintendo, fix Joy-Con drift and give us themes. Like, what's wrong with you? What are you waiting for? What other things do you want to see that Nintendo wants to fix with the Nintendo Switch? Because 4 years, that's pretty good, but you know, we still have more time and much more areas to improve. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more awesome Nintendo Switch and Zelda content coming soon. Alright guys, until the next video, this has been your boy HMK, and I will check you guys later.